Success Podcast. You hear it heard first.
I cannot lose. I'm a winner. Got money on me now, make them talk to me different. Was blind before with nines like they all got no vision.
How's it going, everybody? It's your host, Rikeam, and welcome back to another episode of the Hear Success Podcast. I am joined by...
Pastor John, Adolph, and I am honored to be back with my brother, Rikeam, man. What's going on?
If you're new to this channel, this podcast, what we like to do here, we like to give you guys gems and jewels for your everyday life so that you can catapult yourself into success, your version of success, and be the best version of yourself possible. Today, we want to switch it up and talk a little on a religious point of view. We want to talk about the Ankh versus the cross.
Wow. Okay,
So
I'm with you.
I'm very curious to learn a lot about it because I'm not too familiar with it. I know that there's two different things. I know a lot of my friends have Ankhs tatted on them.
Sure.
And from my understanding, it's like the male organ and the female organ or something like that. But I want you to go ahead and go a little bit more in depth because you know a little bit more about it.
So, Rikeam, let me just say this to everybody who's watching and to my host, man, who has just have me on the show, which I'm so honored. Whenever you start talking about Ankhs, you must deal with ancient Egypt, Kemet. These are Kemetan figures that are rooted in who we are as a people historically on the planet. We are the progenitors, sir, of math and science. We are the progenitors and the root of wisdom, knowledge, and mental pedagogy, academic systems of learning, which academies, schools, and universities use to this day.
Wow.
So, Rikeam, when you start talking about the symbols of ancient Egypt, man, it brings you to the forefront of history that some wish they could erase and eradicate.
In my generation, well, the world of memes, which are these funny little posts that they put on Facebook to clown people or bash people, it has one meme that says that basically if you're rocking the Ankh and a cross at the same time, you're somewhat unknowledged or you might be foolish to do that. Is that true?
Dr. Freddie Haynes is one of my best friends, guys. He is the pastor of the Friendship West Church in Dallas, Texas. Cathedral seats 5,500 people. And when you walk into his church, there is a Black Lives Matter banner hanging up. There is a One Church, One Child banner on the other side. And over the baptistry is an Egyptian Ankh. Okay, so if he can preach a cross and rock an Ankh, tell me what the big deal is. When you get through, he is aware of his cultural heritage, who he is as an African in this world. Hold on, we're the only people who hyphenate Americans, y'all. I don't care what nobody say. Rikeam, we never hear of Asian Americans. Mm-hmm. We never hear of Hispanic Americans. We're the only hyphenated
African,
people.
Yeah,
right, we're the only. We built it. We're the only ones hyphenated.
What does that mean?
Right means like I'm hyphenated. When you get through, we're Americans, but my rootage is Africa. Period. These dreads rocking right now. So when you get through, just the bottom line is that's who we are.
And not to go off topic, but since you say that, isn't it funny how we have that root word to Africa, but it seems like to me that we the only people that don't know about our culture as much. Because when you go, I see Asians, they still live in their culture life, but why is it that we don't do that?
We are, and I'm trying to figure out a way to say this real nicely for the public. We are the people in the world, to me, that has suffered the worst Holocaust the world has ever seen. We often hear about the Jewish Holocaust and what Hitler did to them through Nazi Germany.
True.
Through their fascist regime and hatred for Jews and minorities. But there has been no other Holocaust, listen, my friends, like the African Holocaust. When Jews who survived got to places where they could live, they still had their culture. But when we got here, we were robbed of culture and language. Everything you could steal from a nation or a people was taken from us. Man, Rikeam, I was blessed to go back to Ghana a few years ago. And man, when I got to Ghana, man, and got to the township of Kufuridia, man, with people with thick lips and nappy hair, man, I smelled this woman cooking a meal in a big steel pot. Sir, that was rice and gravy. They call it king K. But sir, I know it when I smell it. You see, wait, it's just some stuff you can't steal from us because it's deeply rooted in us. Our music is ours.
Yep.
Our culture is
and a lot of other races try to, they call it culture vulturing. They try to steal from our culture,
Sir,
take what they want and throw away what they don't want.
Sir, wait, when you look at the architecture of Washington, D.C., you cannot help but get a peeped lens of what it was like to see the land of Timbuktu. So when I say to you, man, just to be able to be culturally relevant is the issue that we're talking about today. The Ankh, the cross. Which one is which? Which one should we live for? And so there's a lot of tension around it. A lot.
What are some solutions? What are some things that we can do as a people to learn more about our culture and get more involved with our culture? What do you think some steps we should take to
study? Hey, wait, let me say this to you. Number one, you would have to get over the fear of not knowing. See, wait, there are some people who with thick lips, nappy hair, and matter in one eye will say, I'm not an African, I'm from Louisiana. Would you please wake up, please, just for about 5 good seconds and realize that your roots run further than that? It is why everybody in the Caribbean looks like us. So when you get to Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, when you get to all of these countries, they may speak different dialects.
But they look like us.
Sir, that's my cousin.
I was shooting a music video about 2 months ago, and I didn't know this about Dominican Republic people, but I was shooting a music video for a guy. He's from the DR, and we were in a barbershop. And then I'm thinking I'm talking to black people. Then all of a sudden they started speaking Spanish. Yeah. And I'm not saying the people that look like us with flat hair. I'm talking about even some of them have hair like us.
Sir, the Dominican Republic is an island full of African people.
Yes.
Who look like you, whose lips are like you.
And not all of them have that straight hair. Some of them do have.
In fact, I've been to the Dominican Republic several times, and every time I've gone, my cousins are there. Well, hold on. Here's the deal. When you follow the pattern from the slave castles in Ghana, in West Ghana, through the Atlantic, through the Caribbean, you can see where some of the cargo, man, got sick. They threw it overboard, but it didn't all die. Man, they survived. Our people populated those islands. And that's why when you get there, you keep seeing us. Hold on, sir. We didn't start there. We got dropped off along the way. So when I say to you, that the people who actually made it to America were the strongest. They were the most powerful people because they had to endure all of that they endured just to get them to America.
And the pandemic is nothing because they had a lot of sicknesses on that boat.
Oh, infections,
on those boats,
man.
yes.
Infections.
So they had to be strong in that aspect as well.
Whole sections of cargo ships with slaves stacked like sardines, man. I promise you, every time I talk about it, I feel goosebumps on me because I know my history. Hold on, Doc. So wait, this is personal to me because it's the history where you don't get this in systems of education. We celebrate Black history, but we only go back about 100 years. Man, that's like, starting in the 12th grade for me. You skipped all of the other stuff. So when you get through, it is painfully true. There is something, man, I think you ought to check out online. In Atlanta, Georgia, man, they have an African American museum there that deals with our Holocaust. You must see that. Hold on, you can look at it online. I think there is a slight fee, but man, if you can't get there, go there virtually. Rikeam, it will bring tears to your eyes, sir.
Just to see what our people went through.
First of all, to see how we lived before we were brought here. Man, in the land of Timbuktu, man, there were no small huts. They were all beautiful mansions. Sir, when you move to the land of Timbuktu in Bali, everybody in the community bought you a brick to build your first mansion with.
Wow.
Because you couldn't live there without communal partnerships. Kuji Kamalia is what, Dr. Karinga would put it, when you celebrate Kwanzaa, that whole corporate economics piece. So when you get through, man, we have a rich history that goes beyond the boundaries and barriers of America. Hold on, we have African American history. I'm with that. But then you have African history, that deals with dynasties, queens and kings and pharaohs, man. It's amazing.
And that's a topic that we do have to touch on in another podcast as well. But getting right back on topic, I want you to go in a little bit more in depth about what the Ankh symbolizes and where it comes from.
Okay, so check this out, guys. Whenever you see the Egyptian Ankh, it's a beautiful symbol that had its roots in ancient Egypt, Kemet. It's a Kemetan symbol. The bottom of the Ankh is a symbol of the male phallus.
Okay.
The very sides of the Ankh are the fallopian tubes of a woman.
And just to be more clear, tell them what a phallus is.
So check this out. So the bottom of the Ankh symbolizes a man's penis, a phallus, and the two sides fallopian tubes. And the very center, man, where that little circle is, would be the place where the child would be birthed. The placenta, if you would. It is the most beautiful symbol of reproduction and life on the planet as we understood it. In Egyptian knowledge and wisdom, there was an afterlife. Now, according to Hammurabi's code, the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead, there was an afterlife. Isis, Osiris, and Horus, this Egyptian trinity, if you would, put together their things just as we have a trinity today. Yet that symbol has been and remains a symbol of life on the planet. And we would call it the whole ideal, man, of birth and being able to regenerate each other, to be able to be fruitful and multiply. It's beautiful.
And I like how you said that it symbolized life. A lot of people would say that the cross, which probably misinterpreted, symbolizes death, but it doesn't in a way, because it does symbolize the rebirth of Christ in a way.
Yeah. Okay. So check this out. When you ask questions of this magnitude, what we're really doing is talking about the rise and falls of nations.
Okay.
So check this out. Egypt rose, but it fell to Babylon. Babylon rose, but it fell to the Medes and Persians. Medes and Persians rose, but it fell to the Scythians. You understand? And the Scythians fell to the Romans. That's just a snapshot of it. But when you get through, the cross or the Ankh traveled through each one of these. And even though it was modified as it went, it was still there.
So it began the Ankh.
So right, that's right. So the Ankh was the original symbol, the symbol of life, right? But as it moved through cultures and dynasties and all of that, the Romans saw it as just a cross. Now here's what the beautiful part is for us. It is where Jesus died, but his death for us is the seed of life and life eternal. So for us, the Ankh and the cross are one in the same, except for the cross is a rough draft for a masterpiece. You feel me? So just like the Ankh symbolizes life on earth only. Hold on, that's why the whole thing is a picture of a man and a woman, a skeletal synopsis of what this looks like for rebirth to happen, for birth to take place, but that is only in time. Hold on, the cross is not only life in time, but life eternal.
Since you pretty much broke it down to the fact that both of them symbolize life, why do you think is it that a lot of Christians these days don't want to represent the Ankh?
Because of a failure to embrace their own history. If you are African, man, and you are African American in this country, for you to look at an Ankh and say, oh, no, that's not it, really just says you haven't really looked at your own history.
So it has a lot to do with like just ignorance to our own history.
To the fact that, hold on, this was our people who took a look at life and said we are the progenitors of all that exists, and in order for us to continue to exist, this must take place. Reproduction. It's interesting, Rikeam, because the Ankh's symbol is reproduction, but the cross is regeneration. The Ankh symbolizes the idea that this is how we reproduce. But hold on, the cross symbolizes this is how we redeem it. Both of these are real big pillars and portraits of life itself.
So in closing of this discussion, what must we do? Like you already said that we need to embrace our history. So do you think that preachers and pastors should start introducing the Ankh in church, or would it be taken the wrong way?
Let me say this. What I think should happen is this. African people around the world should do their best to embrace their own history. My grandmother always said it's a sad dog that can't wag its own tail. There are so many people, man, who are scholars, guys, who were Christians, who are Christians, who love God, love Jesus, love the church, but understand who they are. Let me give y'all some names. Dr. Ndugu Tafari Adi, one of the most brilliant minds you'll ever come to know, is a Christian, man, now sleeps with the ancestors, but can tell you who you are with your nappy hair. Do you understand that? Wait, hold on. There are other names for me that I've studied, like Dr. Asa Hilliard, the ancient Egyptologist, a Baptist boy, if you will, but has grown, man, to just become one of the greatest minds of the era. Recently passed away of malaria in Ghana. Yet, my friends, the name Asa, his name resonates with excellence. Wait, there are more names, man, like Dr. David Robinson. Hold on. If you have never read anything by Dr. Robinson, I would tell you, go Google Journey to the Songhai People and just read it. He wrote it, man, after reflections of studying his own Egyptian roots. And it's a blessing for you. These are not books you're going to walk into the library and find. You have to find them because there are some folk who benefit from our mental bondage, man. There are some people who will make you think you've always been mediocre, always been on the other side of being a progenitor or a creator. But the truth of the matter is, man, you were birthed with greatness within you. Period.
Wow. And as always, I hope that you find something valuable in this. We can call it a lesson today. And if you are listening on any podcast platform, I want you to rate us 5 stars and come back and share it with a friend. If you are watching on YouTube, I ask that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, you hear it heard first. Thanks for listening.
I cannot lose. I'm a winner. Got money on me now, make them talk to me